Picture a dusty summer day in 1847, the Texas sun blazing over Willow Creek, a small town carved from the wild prairie. On the courthouse steps, a crowd gathers, their murmurs heavy with shame and curiosity. 5 sisters stand in tattered dresses, their lives reduced to numbers shouted by men who see them as property. 4 have already been sold to settle their father's gambling debts, torn from their youngest sibling, Sarah May, who's only 16. Her green eyes burn with defiance, her heart breaking as she faces the auctioneer's hammer. But in this moment of despair, a stranger steps forward, offering not just salvation, but dignity. Stick around, because what happens next changes everything. Sarah's auburn hair catches the light as she stands alone, the last of the McAllister girls. Her sisters, Elizabeth, Mary Ellen, and the twins, Clara and Grace, have been taken by men who bid as if buying cattle. Elizabeth went to a rancher for $50. Mary Ellen, soft-spoken and kind, was claimed by a cruel merchant. The twins, barely 18, were bought by a saloon owner with a wicked glint in his eye. Now it's Sarah's turn, and the crowd shifts, some avoiding her gaze, others whispering behind caroused hands. Auctioneer Jim Hawkins raises his hammer. Sarah May McAllister, 16, strong, can cook, clean, and tend a garden. Do I hear $20? The bids start low, climbing fast. 25. 30. Sarah closes her eyes, willing herself anywhere else. Back to the cabin where her mother taught her to braid bread before fever stole her away. Before her father drowned in whiskey and cards. The voices grow louder. 40. 45. Her stomach twists, each number a chain tightening around her future. Then, a new voice cuts through, calm but firm, like a river over stone. $100. The crowd falls silent. Sarah opens her eyes, searching for the speaker. He's tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair graying at the edges and a face lined with both grief and resolve. Daniel O'Connor, a widower who lost his wife and son to cholera last winter, steps closer to the steps. Hawkins blinks. Did you say 100, Mr. O'Connor? I did, Daniel says, his gray eyes locking with Sarah's. But not for what you think. He climbs the steps, each movement deliberate. I'm offering $100 and my name. Sarah May McAllister, I'd be honored if you'd take it as my wife. Not my property, my equal, not my possession. The crowd gasps, murmurs rippling like wind through grass. This isn't how auctions work, not in Willow Creek, not anywhere in Texas. Sarah stares at Daniel, her heart pounding. I don't know you, Mr. O'Connor. Her voice is soft, but it carries. He removes his hat, his smile gentle. No, you don't. But I've seen you in town, helping old widow Thompson with her chores, carrying your sister's burdens when your father fell apart. I'm not asking for love, Sarah May. I'm asking to give you a life where you're respected, where you have a choice. She scans the faces around her. Neighbors who've known her since she was a child, yet stood by as her family was shattered. Then she looks at Daniel, a man offering her dignity when no one else would. Will you treat me as an equal? Not as something owned. I give you my word, as God is my witness. She takes a breath, the air thick with dust and possibility. Then yes, Mr. O'Connor, I'll take your name. Hawkins hesitates, then slams his hammer down. Sold to Daniel O'Connor. But Daniel's already at Sarah's side, offering his hand, not as a master, but as a partner. She takes it, her fingers trembling, feeling the first spark of hope in years. Reverend Ellis steps forward. I'll marry you right here, Daniel, if the lady consents. It's the finest thing I've seen in years. The ceremony is brief, witnessed by a stunned crowd, sealed with a handshake under the blazing sun. As Daniel helps Sarah onto his horse, he says, my place is 3 miles out. Simple, but yours now. She nods, clinging to him as they ride away, the town's whispers fading behind them. For the first time, Sarah feels not just seen, but valued. Not as property, but as a person with a future she might choose. The O'Connor Ranch sits nestled against a low hill, its small house sturdy and clean, with a porch that catches the evening breeze. Sarah May steps inside, her patched dress traded for one of Daniel's late wife's, the cotton soft against her skin. She's 16, a bride by circumstance, yet Daniel's kindness makes the strangeness bearable. He shows her the kitchen, the garden, the bedroom that was meant for a child who never grew up. "This is yours," he says, his voice catching. "For as long as you need it." She nods, sensing his loss, her own grief for her sister's heavy in her chest. They settle into a careful rhythm, like two people learning a new dance. Sarah cooks, tends the garden, and finds solace in the quiet work. Daniel works the land, his hands steady with the horses, his words few but always kind. They sit on the porch at dusk, sharing stories of the day. "I saw a hawk today," she tells him one evening, circling over the creek like it owned the sky. He smiles, his gray eyes softening. "My wife used to say they were the kings of the prairie." Sarah notices he speaks of her without pain, a small victory. But her sister's fates haunt her. Elizabeth is safe, married to a kind rancher, but Mary Ellen and the twins, Clara and Grace, are trapped in cruel hands. One afternoon, a letter arrives from Elizabeth, slipped to Sarah through a traveling preacher. Sarah reads it on the porch, her hands shaking. Mary Ellen tried to run from the merchant who bought her. He beat her so bad she can't walk right. The twins are working in that saloon, forced into things no woman should endure. Tears fall as she crumples the paper. Daniel finds her, his face clouding with concern. "What's wrong?" "It's my sisters," she says, her voice breaking. "I have to help them, Daniel. They're suffering because of me, because I got out." He kneels beside her, his hand gentle on her shoulder. "You didn't cause this, Sarah May. Your father's debts did, but we'll help them. Together." She looks at him, stunned. "You do that? Risk yourself for them." "You're my wife," he says simply. "That makes them my family too. We'll bring them home, if they want to come." The next morning, Daniel saddles 2 horses, packing supplies for a journey. Sarah's never ridden alone, but he teaches her, patient as she grips the reins of a gentle mare. "We'll go for Mary Ellen first," he says, studying a rough map based on Elizabeth's letter. She's in the worst danger. They ride out, the Texas prairie stretching wide before them. Sarah marvels at the vastness, so different from Willow Creek's dusty streets. They talk as they go, sharing pieces of themselves. Daniel tells her of his childhood in Kentucky, how he came to Texas for a fresh start after his parents died. Sarah admits she taught herself to read from her mother's Bible, dreaming of seeing the ocean someday. "It's blue as the sky," she says. "Bigger than anything. Maybe we'll see it one day," he replies, and she feels a warmth at the thought of a shared future. The ride to Redstone, where Mary Ellen is held, takes 2 days. Sarah's legs ache, but her resolve grows. They camp under stars, the fire crackling as Daniel keeps watch. She studies him, this man who's given her a home, now risking everything for her kin. "Why do you care so much?" she asks. He looks at her across the flames. "Because I know what it's like to lose family. And because you deserve to have yours back." Her heart stirs, a feeling beyond gratitude taking root. In Redstone, they find Mary Ellen sweeping the steps of a boarding house, her movements slow, bruises dark on her arms. Sarah dismounts, rushing to her. "Mary Ellen, it's me." Her sister's eyes widen, tears spilling. "Sarah May, is it really you?" "We're here to take you home," Sarah says, holding her gently. The merchant, a wary man named Holt, steps out, his eyes narrow. "She's mine, bought fair, I've got papers." Daniel steps forward, his presence commanding. "Name your price to release her." Holt sneers. "She ain't for sale." Daniel's voice turns cold. "Then you'll explain to the sheriff why she's covered in bruises." The crowd gathers, and Holt, sensing the shift, agrees to $30. Mary Ellen clings to Sarah, whispering, "I thought I'd die here." As they ride away, Sarah looks at Daniel, his jaw set, his heart as steady as his hands. She knows this is just the beginning, but with him, she feels ready for whatever comes next. The road from Redstone stretches long and dusty, the Texas sun relentless as Sarah May, Daniel O'Connor, and Mary Ellen ride toward freedom. Mary Ellen rides behind Sarah, her arms weak but clinging tight, her bruises a silent testament to the hell she's endured. Sarah's heart aches for her sister, but it's buoyed by the man leading them. Daniel, whose quiet strength has turned a stranger's promise into reality. They're headed to Dusty Hollow, where the twins Claire and Grace are trapped in a saloon's dark underbelly. The journey is slow, Mary Ellen's frailty forcing frequent stops, but Sarah feels a fire growing inside her. She's no longer just a girl saved from an auction. She's a sister fighting for her family. They camp by a creek, the water glinting under a crescent moon. Daniel builds a fire, his hand steady as he hands Mary Ellen a tin cup of coffee. "How you holding up?" he asks her. She manages a faint smile. "Better now, thanks to you both." Sarah watches them, marveling at Daniel's gentleness. He's risked everything. His savings, his safety, for women he barely knows. She wants to thank him, but the words feel too small. Instead, she touches his arm as they pack up at dawn. "You're a good man, Daniel." He meets her eyes, a flicker of warmth there. "Just doing what's right, Sarah May." Dusty Hollow is a rough town, its main street lined with saloons and gambling dens. The Rusty Spur, where the twins are held, squats at the edge of town, its windows dark, its air thick with whiskey and despair. Daniel spends a day watching the place, noting the routines. The owner, Cal Tucker, is a brute with a reputation for violence, always flanked by two armed men. Clara and Grace are kept upstairs, brought down at night to entertain rowdy crowds. "We can't just barge in," Daniel tells Sarah and Mary Ellen at their rented room in a boarding house. "Tucker's got too much muscle. We need a plan." Sarah's frustrated, her hands clenched. "Then how do we get them out?" Daniel's eyes glint with an idea. "We wait for Tucker to leave. He goes to the bank every Tuesday morning, takes his gunman with him. That's our window." Mary Ellen, still pale but resolute, speaks up. "I can help. They're my sisters too." Sarah protests. "You're hurt, Mary Ellen. You need rest?" "I need to do this," she insists, her voice firm. Daniel nods. "We'll use a distraction." The plan forms quickly. On Tuesday, when Tucker heads to the bank, Mary Ellen will faint outside the saloon, drawing the bartender and any stragglers. Sarah and Daniel will slip in through the back, find the twins, and get out before Tucker returns. It's risky, but it's their best shot. Tuesday dawns clear, the town waking slowly. Sarah's nerves hum as they wait in an alley behind the saloon. Mary Ellen positions herself out front, her shawl loose, her face pale enough to sell the act. At 10 sharp, Tucker and his men ride off. "Now," Daniel whispers. Mary Ellen stumbles, collapsing dramatically on the saloon steps. "Help!" someone shouts, and the bartender rushes out, followed by a few drunks. Sarah and Daniel dart through the back door, up creaking stairs to a locked room. Daniel kicks the door open, revealing Clara and Grace, thin and hollow-eyed, curled on a dirty mattress. "Sarah!" Clara gasps, rushing into her arms. Grace follows, sobbing. "We're getting you out," Sarah says, her voice fierce. "Hurry," Daniel urges, leading them down the stairs. They make it to the horses, Mary Ellen already waiting, her distraction done. But as they mount up, shouts erupt. Tucker's back early, his men sprinting toward them. "Ride," Daniel yells, spurring his horse. The group gallops out of town, dust rising in their wake. Tucker's men in pursuit. Sarah grips the reins, Clara clinging to her, fear sharp in her chest. The horses strain under the double loads, Mary Ellen's mare lagging. Tucker's men gain, their shouts growing louder. Just when capture seems certain, hoofbeats thunder from the side. A cavalry patrol from Fort Stockton appears, led by a young lieutenant. "Halt," he orders, his men blocking Tucker's path. "This is army business. These folks are under our protection." Tucker rages, claiming theft, but his papers, gambling debts and flimsy bills, crumble under scrutiny. The lieutenant dismisses him, escorting Sarah's group to safety. At a nearby town, they rest, the twins eating their first full meal in months. Clara chatters, her spirit flickering back. Grace is quieter, but her hand stays in Sarah's. Daniel watches over them, his calm a steady anchor. That night by the campfire, Sarah sits beside him. "You saved us again," she says. He shakes his head. "You saved them, Sarah May." "I just helped." She looks at him, his face softened by firelight, and feels something new. A trust deeper than gratitude, a warmth that might be love. The road to Willow Creek lies ahead, but for now, they're together, and that's enough. The prairie stretches endless under a fading sky. The air cool as Sarah May, Daniel O'Connor, Mary Ellen, and the twins, Clara and Grace, ride toward Willow Creek. The twins are frail, their faces shadowed by months in the rusty spur's grip, but their eyes hold a spark of hope, kindled by freedom. Sarah rides close to them, her heart torn between relief and the lingering fear of pursuit. Daniel leads, his posture alert, his black stallion steady despite the long days. They're a family now, bound not by blood alone, but by choice, and Sarah feels the weight of that bond with every mile. The cavalry's intervention in Dusty Hollow bought them time, but the road home is slow. Mary Ellen's bruises slow her, and the twins' weakness demands frequent rests. Daniel never complains, cooking simple meals, standing watch at night, his patience a quiet strength. Sarah watches him, marveling at how he makes the impossible feel possible. One evening, as they camp by a shallow river, Clara speaks up, her voice shaky but clear. "Why'd you do it, Mr. O'Connor? Risk your life for us." Daniel looks at her, then at Sarah. "Family sticks together, Clara. Your sister trusted me, and I promised to honor that. You're part of that promise." Sarah's throat tightens, her feelings for him deepening. The journey tests them all. A wheel on their supply wagon breaks, costing a day to fix. Rain turns the trail to mud, and Grace catches a fever, her coughs worrying Sarah. Daniel trades a knife for medicine at a trading post, his calm reassuring. "She'll pull through," he tells Sarah, and she believes him. By the time they near Willow Creek, the twins are stronger, Clara's laughter returning, Grace humming softly. Mary Ellen rides taller, her spirit mending. Sarah feels pride in their resilience, but her thoughts turn to Elizabeth. The sister's still out there. Will she join them? Can they truly be whole? The ranch comes into view, its modest house a beacon of safety. Daniel helps the twins down, his hands gentle. "You're home now," he says. Claire and Grace cling to Sarah, tears mixing with smiles. Mary Ellen looks at the garden, the porch, and whispers, "It's beautiful." Sarah nods, feeling the same awe she did her first day. They settle in, the house cozy despite its new crowdedness. Clara and Grace share Sarah's room. Mary Ellen takes the spare, and Daniel sleeps on a cot in the barn, giving the women space. Sarah insists he stay inside, but he shakes his head. They need time to heal. You all do. His selflessness stirs her, a quiet ache in her chest. The next morning, Sarah wakes to find Clara in the garden, pulling weeds with a focus that speaks of reclaiming herself. Grace helps Mary Ellen in the kitchen, her hands steady as she kneads dough. Sarah joins them, the simple act of cooking together a balm for their wounds. Daniel returns from town with news. Elizabeth's husband, a kind rancher named Tom, wants to visit. Sarah's heart leaps. A reunion might be near. When Elizabeth arrives, the sisters fall into each other's arms, tears flowing freely. "I thought I'd lost you all," Elizabeth says, her voice thick. Daniel stands back, giving them space, but Sarah pulls him forward. This is Daniel, my husband. He brought us back together. Elizabeth shakes his hand, her eyes shining. I don't know how to thank you. Just be here, he says. That's enough. The sisters spend the day talking, laughing, rebuilding what was broken. Elizabeth's husband, Tom, offers to help the twins and Mary Ellen start anew, but they choose to stay at the ranch, drawn to its warmth. Sarah watches them, her heart full, but a question lingers. She finds Daniel on the porch that evening, the stars bright above. What happens now? She asks. We keep going, he says. Build a life, all of us, together. She nods, but her thoughts drift to their marriage, born of necessity. She cares for him, more than she expected. But is it love? He seems to sense her uncertainty. You don't owe me anything, Sarah May. This marriage is what you want it to be, when you're ready. His words ease her, but they also spark a longing. She wants to be ready, to give him what he's given her. A heart unafraid. The ranch becomes a haven, the sisters' laughter filling its rooms. Clara takes to the horses. Grace discovers a knack for sewing, and Mary Ellen's cooking draws smiles from Daniel. Sarah tends the garden, her hands in the earth grounding her. But at night, she lies awake, thinking of Daniel's kindness, his steady presence. One morning, as they share coffee, she speaks. Daniel, I'm starting to feel something for you. Something real. He looks at her, his eyes soft. I felt it too, Sarah May. But we've got time. No rush. Her heart skips, a promise of something deeper taking root. The ranch, once quiet, hums with life, but Sarah knows their story isn't over. There's a future to build, and she's ready to face it with Daniel by her side. The O'Connor Ranch glows under the autumn sun, its fields golden, its house alive with the voices of Sarah May, Mary Ellen, Clara Grace, and Elizabeth, who visits often. The sisters have found their rhythm, each carving a place in this new family. Clara trains the horses, her laughter echoing across the pasture. Grace's needle flies, turning old fabric into dresses that spark joy. Mary Ellen's kitchen is a haven, her stews warming the evenings. Elizabeth's visits bring stories of her ranch, her kind husband Tom, a steady presence. Sarah oversees it all, her hands busy, her heart fuller than she ever dreamed. Daniel moves among them. His quiet strength the foundation of their home. He's given them more than a roof. Safety, respect, a chance to heal. Sarah watches him, her feelings growing with every shared glance, every gentle word. She's no longer the scared girl from the courthouse steps. She's a woman discovering love, not out of obligation, but choice. One evening, as they sit on the porch, the air crisp with fall, Sarah speaks. Daniel, I need to tell you something. He turns, his gray eyes attentive. What is it? I care for you, she says, her voice steady. Not just because you saved me, but because of who you are. This marriage, it's real to me now. He takes her hand, his thumb tracing her palm. I've loved you since I saw you on those steps, Sarah May, so brave, so unbroken. I didn't want to rush you, but my heart's been yours for months. She leans closer, her breath catching. Then kiss me, Daniel, as my husband. Their lips meet, soft and sure, a promise sealed not by a courthouse vow, but by mutual trust. The kiss is a beginning, a bridge from partnership to love. The sisters notice the change, their smiles knowing. Clara teases, about time you two stopped dancing around it. Sarah laughs, her joy unburdened. The ranch thrives, the sisters' wounds fading. Mary Ellen catches the eye of Dr. Samuel Reed, a young physician who treated her injuries. His visits grow frequent, his kindness winning her heart. Clara and Grace draw suitors too, twin brothers, John and Henry Cole, ranchers who treat them with respect. Sarah stands as matron of honor at Mary Ellen's wedding, her heart swelling as her sister finds happiness. The twins' engagement follows, their double wedding planned for spring. Elizabeth announces she's expecting, her ranch moving closer to Willow Creek to stay near family. The ranch becomes a hub, a place where love and laughter drown out past pain. Sarah and Daniel grow closer, their evenings filled with talks of the future. One night, under a blanket of stars, Sarah shares a dream. "I want to see the ocean someday, Daniel." Like in the stories, he pulls her close. "We will, Sarah May. You, me, and whatever family we build." Her heart races, a new possibility dawning. Weeks later, Sarah feels a change. Morning nausea, a fullness she can't ignore. Dr. Reed confirms it. She's pregnant. Joy mixes with fear. Daniel's loss of his first son a quiet shadow. He holds her, his voice steady. "This child will be born into love, Sarah May. We'll keep them safe." She nods, trusting him, trusting them. The sisters rally, sewing tiny clothes, planning a nursery. Clara jokes, "This baby'll have 4 ants spoiling it rotten." Grace designs a quilt. Mary Ellen bakes extra bread, and Elizabeth sends a cradle from her ranch. Daniel builds a rocking chair, his hands carving love into every curve. Sarah feels the baby move, a flutter of life, and knows this is their miracle. The ranch prepares for winter, the sisters' weddings on the horizon. Sarah and Daniel's love deepens, rooted in shared trials. One evening, as snow dusts the prairie, Sarah finds Daniel in the barn, checking the horses. "I love you," she says, the words easy now. He pulls her close, his breath warm. "And I love you, Sarah May. Always will." She feels whole, not just saved, but chosen. By him, by this family, by herself. The ranch, once a refuge, is now a legacy, its walls holding stories of courage and redemption. Sarah knows challenges will come. Raising a child, keeping the family close. But with Daniel and her sisters, she's ready. The future, once a distant hope, is here, and it's theirs to shape. The O'Connor Ranch hums with life as spring paints the Texas prairie in wildflowers. Sarah May, now radiant with pregnancy, moves through her days with purpose, her hands often resting on her growing belly. The house is full. Mary Ellen, married to Dr. Samuel Reed, visits often, her gentle presence a comfort. Clara and Grace, engaged to the Cole brothers, plan their summer wedding, their laughter a melody through the rooms. Elizabeth, expecting her own child, has settled nearby, her ranch a short ride away. Daniel, ever steady, works the land, his love for Sarah a quiet force that binds them all. The ranch is more than a home, it's a testament to what love and courage can build. Sarah's labor comes in late May, the air warm with the scent of blooming sage. The delivery is long, pain threading through her, but Daniel never leaves her side, his hand in hers, his voice a lifeline. Dr. Reed attends, his calm guiding them. After hours, a cry pierces the dawn. A boy healthy, with Daniel's gray eyes and Sarah's determined chin. They name him James Patrick, honoring Daniel's lost son while claiming this new life. Daniel holds him, tears falling. He's perfect, Sarah May. Just like his mother. Sarah, exhausted but glowing, touches his face. "We're all perfect, Daniel." Together, the sisters gather, their joy a chorus. Clara cradles James, whispering, "You're gonna love your crazy aunts." Grace wraps them in her quilt. Mary Ellen brings warm broth, and Elizabeth, round with her own pregnancy, promises playdates. The ranch feels alive, its walls holding not just family, but a legacy. Sarah and Daniel settle into parenthood, their love deepened by James's presence. They sit on the porch at dusk, James asleep in Sarah's arms, the prairie stretching before them. "Tell me about her again," Sarah says, meaning Daniel's first wife, Anna. She's never feared Anna's memory, knowing love grows, not divides. Daniel smiles. "Anna said love was a flame. The more you share, the brighter it burns." She'd have loved this, Sarah May. This family, this life. Sarah nods, feeling Anna's spirit in the warmth around them. The sisters' weddings come, filling the ranch with celebration. Clara and Grace marry John and Henry in the garden, Reverend Ellis officiating, the community of Willow Creek joining in. Sarah, James in her arms, watches her sisters shine, their strength reclaimed. Mary Ellen and Samuel announce they're expecting, and Elizabeth's baby, a girl, arrives soon after. The ranch becomes a gathering place, a hub for family and friends, its table always set for more. Sarah and Daniel raise James with the truths they've learned. Family is chosen, dignity is fought for, and love transforms pain. The town changes too. The courthouse, once a place of shame, now hosts fairs and weddings, never again an auction of human lives. Sarah, Elizabeth, and their sisters advocate quietly, ensuring no woman faces what they did. Years pass, the ranch growing with more children. Daughters with Sarah's fire, sons with Daniel's calm. Sarah becomes the heart of Willow Creek, her kindness a beacon. One evening, James, now 5, asks, "How'd you meet Papa?" Sarah smiles. "Once, in a dusty town. Something wonderful happened, disguised as something terrible. That's how our family began." Daniel, listening, takes her hand, his love as sure as ever. The ranch prospers, its legacy enduring. Sarah never sees the ocean, but she finds her vastness in the family she's built, the love she's grown. She and Daniel grow old together, their porch always open, their story whispered in the wind. They've turned a moment of darkness into a lifetime of light, proving that courage and love can change not just one life, but a whole community. The O'Connor Ranch stands quiet under a Texas twilight, its fields golden, its house warm with memories. Sarah, May, and Daniel, now graying, sit on their porch, James and their other children asleep inside. The sisters, Elizabeth, Mary Ellen, Clara, Grace, are scattered nearby, their own families thriving, yet bound to this place by love. What began on the courthouse steps, in a moment of pain, became a legacy of healing, a family forged not just by blood, but by choice. Sarah thinks of the girl she was, defiant yet terrified, and the woman she became, shaped by Daniel's hand extended in respect, by her sister's resilience, by the life they built. The prairie stretches before them, vast as the ocean she once dreamed of, and she knows this is enough. Their story isn't in history books, but it lives in the laughter of their grandchildren, in the strength of a town that learned to do better. Here's to those who turn darkness to light, who choose love over fear, who build families from broken pieces. The ranch, like their love, endures, a quiet promise that even the hardest days can lead to the brightest tomorrows.